there is only one skill you need to sell anything. There's only one skill you need to sell anything, and it's connecting with your customer. Let me say that one more time for people who are tuning in to JTinTheRaw for the very first time. There is only one skill you need to sell anything: connect with your customer. Good morning and welcome to JTinTheRaw show 175, coming to you live from Bondi Beach. And how gorgeous is this place? So there really is only one skill you need to sell anything at all, and that is to connect with your customer. And after my experience yesterday, how you sell can be in fact irrelevant if you've connected with your customer. This is a gorgeous day in Sydney. It is hot, but you can start to see the smoke haze here already in Sydney. For those of you that are watching from overseas, it's a tough time here in Australia. We've got a lot of fires, so big shout out to all those firemen again, the volunteer firefighters, plus also the paid ones that are risking their lives to save people's houses. You guys do an amazing job, and I'm grateful, and I'm sure the people that you're saving houses, family, pets, everything are also extremely grateful. So today's show is I want to share with you an experience that I went through yesterday with a sales product, and the sales was really clunky. In fact, it was pretty ordinary, the actual sales process, and yet we still walked away buying something. So I'm going to share that with you today, so hang in there for a few more minutes, and then I'll rip in and I'll share with you the how to connect with your customer. So often we kind of get this whole sales process, and we have to focus on the sales process. What does the process look like? What do we have to go through in order to get someone to buy whatever we're selling? Anything from a widget, anything to personal training, anything to a house, whatever it may be. There are so many things we're selling every day. We always have a process. And yesterday, I went along and experienced with something with Zoe, actually. I actually took Zoe with me because we went to this, an athletic performance opportunity where they went in to test her athletic ability. And of course, at the end of that, they were trying to sell something to us. Simon and Jai, you've just spent the last hour together down here on the beach. Get a room, you guys. Amanda, good morning. How are you, Amanda? Great having you on board this morning. Anyway, so we went along to this. Now, we're completely eyes wide open. We knew that potentially that they were going to try and sell us something, but we didn't actually know what it was. So in we went. Zoe went through the whole routine, the whole testing, and then at the end we sat down, and I got to admit, we went through the clunkiest, the ugliest sales process I have ever been through, trying to sell me anything. And at the end of it, I just turned to Zoe and I said, so do you want to go ahead? She goes, word for word, I really like Pat. Yes, we would. Okay, did you hear what I said, ladies and gentlemen? Zoe said, I really like Pat, so can we do it? So Pat's sales process was ugly, it was clunky. He'd only been in the role as a salesy person for 2 weeks, so he didn't even really know the prices terribly well, and yet we went ahead. Why? Because Zoe liked Pat. Now, what does that teach us? Well, first of all, let me go back to when the session started and what did we actually do in the session. The reality is Pat connected with an 11-year-old. Gee, Zoe, I nearly wrote you off a year. He connected with an 11-year-old. Here's what he did, and I wrote these things down so that I could share them with you guys today. He asked questions, open-ended questions that allowed an 11-year-old just to talk. There was no judgment on the questions. There was not questions that would imply whether she was fit or whether she was strong. They were open-ended questions that allowed her to talk. And as she spoke, his body language was this. Oh, yeah, that's great. Awesome. So he actually really didn't even have to have long conversations, but you could see he was totally engaged with the answers that she was giving. Totally engaged. They did a couple of different exercises But because Zoe is only this tall, he got down to her level. He didn't talk down to her. His body language got him down to her level, eye to eye. Really powerful body language, open body language, eye to eye, down at that level. Throughout the assessment tasks, throughout the testing, he complimented her. Now, I don't know whether he was doing that to why he was doing it, but they were genuine compliments. There was no sales thing about this. He was genuinely saying, hey, great, well done. He was identifying things that she was doing really well, while at the same time identifying areas that she could improve. Very, very impressive. Basically, for the other thing that he did was he worked really hard, which, and I mean had to work hard to do this, but he found mutual connection. He looked for things that were relevant in his life or he was doing in his workouts that were relevant to her. Now that to me is a really powerful thing. I don't care what you're selling. You could be selling clothes, but if you can find that mutual connection, that's a really powerful tool in order to connect with somebody. So what I worked out is that after 30 minutes, these two were friends. Now, a couple of other things that he did. He showed that he genuinely cared. So at the end of that 30 minutes, if I said to Zoe, do you think he really wants to help you get better or get stronger? Her answer would have been 100% yes. He showed he genuinely cared. And while he was going through the process, he was educating her. Not with jargon, because this is what she said in the car on the way home. The reason I liked him was I understood what he said. He didn't use words that I didn't understand. Now this is pretty tough for a guy who's probably 25 to 30 years of age talking to an 11-year-old. But if he can do it, then I don't care what we're selling. We can all do it. I don't care who we're selling to. We can all do it. Let me be very clear on that again. One of the reasons he connected with her is he used language that she could understand. Now often, I don't care what it is. I mean, I'll give you an example. When we were doing some renovations at home, the builder was using language, jargon, that I had no idea what he was talking about. And I had to say, can you dumb that down for me? Can you just put it in layman's terms? Because he lost me. So are you, or is your team, when they're trying to sell their product, using language that people simply don't understand? Now, Pat also did this really cool thing yesterday. Now, I don't know whether it was intentional, but I got a feeling it was just authentic. I got a feeling it was just natural. And what he did was this. He said this phrase, I don't normally do this because it's not part of the assessment, but I just want to teach you something, Zoe. How good? How good is that statement? I don't normally do this, but I just want to teach you this. And I was just sitting there going, mate, you are good. But it was authentic, it was real. And he taught her a skill that she didn't have. So that's what I just wanted to share with you this morning, is some of these connection strategies that Pat used. Because when we got to the sales presentation, it was clunky, it was ugly. In fact, it was fairly atrocious. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter. And to be honest, to my horror, it probably wouldn't have mattered what it cost. Zoe would have been saying, can I go with it? Can I do it? Because she liked Pat. So what I want to go through there with them just one more time with you, and I want you to think in your club, in your business, in your boutique, in your real estate agency, whatever it may be, whatever you're selling, I want you to think about, does this happen in your business? First of all, are people asking open-ended questions? Open-ended questions with no judgment on the answer. Do they go to the level of the prospect? You know, are they bending down? Are they sitting down? Are they at eye-to-eye level? Not trying to dominate them, not trying to over-impress them, but actually be at their level. Are they giving compliments? Are compliments given? And are they trying to find a commonality so that there is that connection immediately? Are they educating? Are they educating using language that is easily understandable? Are they doing that? Are they showing that they genuinely care about the person and that the product that they're about to buy or that the service that they're about to buy is going to help them? And finally, are you adding a bonus? Remember the bonus question, are they using this phrase? I don't normally do this, but for you I am. Take this away. Even have your team watch this. If you know anybody who's in sales, tag them in the comments below. Tag them in the comments below. Or share the show with them. Because I think these are critical steps. What I honestly believe in the world that we now live in is that if you have to sell your product, you haven't connected with your prospect. If you have to sell your product, you have not connected with your prospect. When you connect, your prospect will buy from you. Your prospect will buy from you. They will own the decision that's going to lead to repeat sales, that's going to lead to retention, that's going to give you a higher NPS score. At the end of yesterday's presentation, remember what Zoe said? I like Pat. I like him because, and she could name the reasons why she liked him, and it was all coming back to connecting with him. The sales presentation, the mode in which he told me the price was completely irrelevant. It was the connection that was important. And as I said before, if a 25 to 30-year-old guy can connect with an 11-year-old by language, then we, in whatever we're selling to other adults, we should be able to connect. And this should be an example, a benchmark for all of us. Because at the end of the day, I bought the product, I bought the service because of the connection. I was so impressed with that young man. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That is JTinTheRaw, show 175, coming to you live from this amazing place, Bondi Beach in Sydney. It's going to be a cracking day today, weather-wise. Thoughts out to those, as I said earlier, around the fires. We're going to be working hard inside with the personal trainers. Today's show was all about helping you close more sales without needing sales training, without needing software, without needing resources, by improving one skill, and that skill is connection. And so, it's not surprising that today's quote of the week has something to do with that. If you connect with your prospect, they'll buy. Simply, they'll buy. Let me say that again. If you connect with your prospect, they'll buy. Simply, just buy. You've been tuned into JTinTheRaw, show 175. And if you connect with your prospect, they'll buy. Simply, just buy. Ladies and gentlemen, have an awesome weekend wherever you are in the world. Make it an awesome weekend, and I will catch you on the flip side.